Director pushing the go button.
And we're live. How exciting. How exciting. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical. I ain't cheerleading while the boys play ball. I ain't no typical girl. No, no, no. I wanna be right there in the middle of it all.
Woohoo! Welcome to another episode of Alexandra May's Music Cafe, only on IBM.tv. I am so excited for this week's show. We've got a jam-packed show with some really cool people, guys. And just to let you know, we have a live stream comment. So if you guys want to comment, let me know and let me know what you're thinking. If you've got questions for our guests, just pile it in there. They're all going to say hi to you anyway. So I'm going to introduce them all to you. They're all in the musical theater world. So this is going to be quite an exciting show. First up, second up, third up, and a pop-in guest, Isabella J. Welcome, everybody! Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. So
Can I just say how cool that song is?
Thank you!
Yeah, that was such a cool
Thank you.
intro.
Yeah, it's so funky.
Thank you so much. I wrote
doing the
it.
moves.
Very cool.
I really do appreciate the compliments. Thank you. But let me introduce you guys to, let me introduce our viewers to you and you to them, yes? So over here is Anton Linsing. I don't know how to do this. Here we go. This is Anton. Next to Anton, we've got Carmen PRETORIUS. Then down here, we have Isabella Jane, who we had on last week. So she's a pop-in guest, special guest. And over there, I don't know how to, that way. We have JARRYD NURDEN. Trying to figure this out is something else. I love, you're going to talk to each other like, oh wait, this way. Hi, how you doing? How you doing?
It's backwards.
No, I'm really excited to have you guys on the show. You guys are so cool. You all have, I've been saying every time I come into the show, I just sort of like to speak about the upcoming show on the Sunday. And I always say to Kim and Ankit, you guys all have CVs as long as both my arms. And I don't know how I'm going to get through everything. I'm just sorry, you guys. I mean, it's so amazing to have you all here. You all have different views on the industry. You're all part of different involved in different parts of the industry. So I'd love to start with Carmen, ladies first. If that's okay, guys. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Carmen, I want you to, if you could just give our viewers just a quick, a slide in those DMs, who you are, Tinder profile, what you would say, bio, what you would say, just who you are and your journey, just a little bit of it, just to give us a sneak peek.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm Carmen. I am a musical theatre actress and singer, as well as a film and TV actress. I started my career with High School Musical. I won a reality TV show where I won the role of Gabriella when I was 18. And that was 12 years ago. And since then, I've been in Jersey Boys. I played Lorraine. I've been in Cabaret. I understand Sally Bowles. I've been in The Sound of Music. I played Maria. I've been in Chicago. I played Roxy. I've been in Mamma Mia. I played Sophie. I've been able to travel the world. I've performed in over 15 countries, and I have done TV and film, and now I have branched out into my passion, which is singing, but I'm a voice coach. So I've started my own little studio, and
that's
really
amazing.
That's me.
No, that's amazing. And, again, can we count? It's going to be the same with all of you guys. I know this. But, I mean, I can't wait to dive into... I've got pictures here that you sent me of the musicals that you've been in, and I really I can't wait to dive into the vocal lab, because I really want to know what you guys are doing during lockdown and how you guys are coping, firstly, surviving, how you're keeping your business, your industry, everything alive. I can't wait to dive into that. So, hold on for 2 seconds for me, Carmen. I can't wait. Next up, I want to jump to JARRYD.
Yay!
I want to say, JARRYD, when I sent you that voice note, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit nervous. And then when I got your reply, I ran to my mom and I said, I want him to be my best friend.
You're so
I love
fine.
your energy.
No, you mustn't be scared. I don't know why people get so scared.
There must be I think it's like with all of you, it's like a bit of a superstar thing. It must be a superstar thing because even with Carmen, like I literally I've known you. We went to the same vocal teacher,
I know,
right?
I've known you since I was like this big.
I know this big. But the problem is like I love High School Musical, and to see you become Gabriella was like just a moment for me. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. But Jared, can you please give us a hashtag like bio of who
Summary.
you are? Hashtag like it's in the bio vibes. You know who you are.
Sure.
Let everybody know what you do.
Okay. Well, I am JARRYD NURDEN. Hello, everyone. And I am also a musical theatre actor, and I am also a model as well. And I am a horse rider, just to throw in something different. And I'm also now, with this whole COVID situation, I'm now branching out into my online business, which I'm going to be launching soon, which is going to be exciting. And I'm going to be doing life coaching, which is really exciting. And other things. So that'll be getting down soon. And then, yeah, I've done some really awesome musicals. My career also started with Carmen in high school.
I know! How cool is that?
When I was 16, I was
Wow.
young. My voice had just broken. I had like 6 months on my voice. So that was an amazing experience. And then from there, I've just been really learning and growing and doing some incredible shows like Cats and West Side Story, Singing in the Rain, Joseph, Chicago, Priscilla, and now recently Rocky Horror. So it's been a super whirlwind of a ride. Yeah.
Amazing. I can't wait to dive in because my sister told me specifically to ask you a question about Rocky Horror. So
Sure.
I can't wait to dive into that. I'm not going to lie to you. So everybody stay tuned. We've got some juicy juice, some tea. Get ready to spill the tea. So I'm excited. I'm so excited to hear all about that. Again, like you've been part of musicals that I've grown up with, and I've literally grown up watching. I mean, I call it Jophus. This is Jophus. It's not Joseph. It's Jophus. I've grown up with Jophus. And like, speaking of Jophus, okay, Anton,
Right.
can you please give us a hashtag Tinder bio of what you've done? I know now you have been on stage, backstage, off the stage, watching the stage, teaching the stage. You've done everything. So can you just give everybody just a good rundown?
Yeah, I'm clearly the old man amongst all of you.
Oh no!
And I think I started with Cats, the first production of Cats in 2001.
1980. So what?
Yeah, something like 1956. No. 2001. And that was the very first time South Africa had one of these big international shows come here and cast an all South African team. And, so really when I say I was part of the beginning of it all, I really was. So I'm giving away my age, but it was really amazing. And since then, I went from being a performer to part of the creative teams of many of the shows that all of these wonderful faces in front of you were in somewhere along the line. I'm sure we'll talk about that, including your sister. And then more recently an educator with my academy that I run with Dwayne Alexandra. So we have... Yeah, I mean, I think we have been through it all. And I think that's one of the tips that I can give people, again, as I'm sure we'll cover at some stage today, is how one's career changes and how you, as you mature, you take on more responsibility. And I guess you put on your big boy shoes and, you start to, just, expand, not just your waist, but your career. So it's been a fantastic ride and it's been very, very exciting. And Joseph, I think I must have done that show 3 times in various, parts. I think I'm yet to do it as the father, who I call Jacob. One of these days, maybe in another 20 years or so.
I love Jacob. Oh, sorry, Carmen, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, I just said he's too young for that. He needs to.
Good.
One day.
He was an amazing Sarah.
Thank you.
Hang on, before we even, I need to actually bring it up. There we go. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Anton is Pharaoh.
I mean, when I tell you there was glitter everywhere, I will not be exaggerating. Everywhere.
And glitter
So,
ends up, you find it in places it shouldn't be.
No,
And it stays with you.
If there wasn't a
It's
PG
amazing.
on this, we could talk about it. But
Keeping it PG. Well, that's another conversation. We'll Zoom later.
for another time.
Well, I need to now introduce our wonderful pop-in. Now, Bella, my sister Isabella Jane, was on last week, and I thought it would be important for her to come on. I know she's not. She said she had a wisdom teeth out or wasn't tooth out last week, so she's not like 100%, but she has put a little bit of makeup on, and she just thought she'd pop in to say hi to everybody and just say hi. And Bella, can you just give everybody like a rundown of sort of what you have done, who you've worked with, who we're interviewing today, what you've done? Just give us a little bit of a rundown for people who haven't seen us before.
Well, I think the beginning could be where I started singing was the first thing that I started with, and I would say I'd connect with Carmen with that one because we went to the same singing teacher when I was like 7 years old or something. And Jared, I'm just a fan of you. And then after various things of singing and ventriloquism with SA's Got Talent, I then found myself after being in comedy and ventriloquism and entertainment and emceeing, I found myself in musical theatre, not theatre, that sort of thing, where I met Anton. I played the mistress in Evita, and Anton was Magaldi. So we connected there, and that's really who I am, a bundle of hobbies that have lasted quite long, really.
I love that. And right now you're doing a whole bunch of stuff with Rosie as well.
Yes.
And you're just like, you're doing like 3 episodes a week or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I'm
and she's
busy
putting out
focusing
stuff
on kids' entertainment and education, on the world, on little Bible stories for Sundays, on fairy tales and Disney.
Very
just
important.
focusing on entertainment and education to keep kids busy and their minds going.
And their
so that's what
parents
I've been
are forever grateful to you.
Yes.
You know what?
Yes.
Peace be with them.
And I'm sure you've all got something to say about that, so we'll definitely dive into that. Oh my goodness. Well, Bella, thank you for popping in. You're welcome to stay. You must just let me know if you want to go or whatever, however you're feeling. You must just shout, and we'll
I'm having a good time. I'm gonna hang around for a little.
Oh, that's awesome.
Listen,
Nice. Okay. Well, I think we started with Carmen, but guys, please jump in if you've obviously done stuff together, so just jump in here. But Carmen, I sort of was introduced to you as a superstar with High School Musical, and then from there it was like just skyrocketing up, right? It was Mamma Mia, then I don't actually know the exact list. It was Mamma Mia, Maria, there was Roxy, there was just beyond, right? But can you tell me, when it came to High School Musical live on stage, how did it feel? How did that whole process feel? Because obviously you obviously met Peter Turin and you're involved in that whole process. How did that feel? Was it like a real audition process that we have nowadays when it comes to theater, or was it a bit different because of TV and cameras? How was that whole experience?
It was full on. It was sure. I can't even remember how long it all took, but my first audition was to actually get into the top 40. And then there were a couple more rounds. And then I think, Jared, maybe you can help me, but once you got, what was it, top 18 or something?
Top 18, we were in the house.
Yeah, so top 18,
right.
We all got to get to the house, which was the house in Kansas. It was beautiful. And we all lived there together. We had a chef. But it was literally, we had those things because it was day in, day out musical theatre, practicing our songs for the next show, for the next week. And then basically the format was like Idols, where the public votes and people
you have to practice your voting off song.
Hey?
How depressing.
So I always say I don't remember much of it because I'm someone who's very goal oriented, and I'm like this. Like if I have something, like Anton will know this. Him and I are very good friends, and he always says that I'm called Kermit, which is Hermit with a C, because I never go out anywhere, and I'm just always focused on what's next. And I don't remember much. I was so like, okay, what's the next song I have to learn? And, I'm going to get through to the next week. But I am
It was
still...
intense. It was really intense.
I still don't know how I won. I'm still like, what? Crazy.
Amazing.
I mean, you were clearly the best. So, and you were clearly obviously amazing.
At the time, maybe. Evidently, here I am,
No, I mean, and then
No, you
after
were
that,
amazing.
was the production after that Mamma Mia? Am I right in saying that you were Sophie and Mamma Mia? What was next?
The next one was Footloose, which I forgot to mention, which was really
Footloose.
important. Yeah, actually, because it was the kind of production that allowed me to, I suppose, show that I had staying power and that I wasn't just like a flash in the pan. So it was nice because I got to go back to my natural color, which is blonde, although it kind of turned out red because we tried it in one day and then it all went wrong.
Nice.
Because I kind of went back to me, and then the character I played was Ariel, and she was very ballsy. So it was a good business decision to do Footloose because it kind of gave me a leg up and showed people that I could stay in the industry, I guess.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. But so, JARRYD, you keep saying that it was just pretty intense. Did you find that whole experience being TV cameras like more stressful? Because now it's not just you auditioning. You're constantly on show, which is, I guess, a general rule for us in the business. When you step out the house, you're on show. I guess you're now in that work frame. But I guess it's different now with cameras around and compared to your life now, where you just can just audition.
Yeah, absolutely. It was intense. It was intense because, well, for me, coming from Natal, I had absolutely no training. So it was.
Wow.
I had no idea. I mean, I was literally learning as I was going.
That's amazing.
So it was a lot, and it was like I was just like a young puppy, like trying to just do, and feel the fear and just try to get through. But yes, having the cameras there, the different acting, like our acting challenges we had every week, where we had to shoot different scenes from the movie. It was like, and then like the awkward script that it is an awkward script, and it was
teenagers.
And learning an American accent for the first time when I had this really like Durban accent, because I was like a
Durbanite, eh?
Durbanite.
The surfing, yeah, we're Durbanites, we get it.
I was still straight, so I was like still having to navigate through all of that. Who was
oh my gosh!
Right.
Right.
And so it was all of that, and what was an amazing foundation, I think, that we'll get onto later, I'm sure as well, was the starting point where Carmen and I specifically got told about basically social media. That's where it started, and how important your following is, and how important. So I think it was the Mnet's PR woman who came into the house one day, and she gave a whole speech. I think
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I don't think Facebook had started yet. I think it was still MySpace or something.
Wow.
We each had a profile on the...
Anton, you'd know about that.
And we would like go onto the website and like post stuff.
Yes. And we each had
to build that
really
fan
think
base.
about our image, and we had to think about how we wanted to be portrayed and all of these kinds of things. And I'll never forget what she said. She was like, your following is your audience, and your audience is your paycheck. So, like, so she was always like, accept people, you're going to have your fans, and you need to cultivate them and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, I
think that was a good lesson for me.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting because a lot of people entering the business don't quite know the business side of it, because it's not just about, oh, I'm so passionate and I just wake up and I love to do this. It's an art that you're constantly working at, and it's a business. And I'd like to ask Anton, because you've got Lambda, you've got the workshops and all that.
Yeah.
Do you now, with this whole world of social media, knowing your fans, etc., do you also teach that to your kids, learn how to, obviously when it comes to accents and acting and dancing, all those things are included, but do you guys also look at the social media side of things? Like where are you guys with that as well?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I think there's the performance side is a big thing, you know, and I was and listening to what JARRYD said, a lot of people get by on their instincts. They don't necessarily need to have been trained in anything. I think, you know, the bottom line at the end of the day about our craft is it doesn't matter what you've done, where you're from, what degree you have, which part of the world you're in, it's that X marks the spot, and you've got to bring your talents at that moment. And yeah, it's wonderful to look and see, oh, he's done this role and he's done that and he's worked with this colleague that I know. That stuff is important. Which is another reason why I say, you know, your brand and all of the stuff, the way you put yourself out there, the way that people see you, what do you like to work with? Are you a lovely person? Are you a pain in the ass? You know, those are things that you have to carry with you from job to job, and they are going to affect you at some stage, you know? So yes, all of that stuff is hugely important. We teach show business as part of our course. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it is absolutely, you know, it's as important as knowing how to go down stage and what stage left means, knowing what your brand is, what your personal individual selling point is, what makes you unique, what makes you different. All of those things, you know, finding those things are an essential part of becoming understanding who you are and what you can bring to your craft. And so, yes, the big answer is absolutely. There's so much more to just singing, dancing, and acting that one needs to learn as a performer. And along with each show that you do, and as you build up from all the things that are happening around you. I mean, let's face it, you finish, you graduate, and then your profession starts, your career starts, and that's when you really start to learn. You know, it's sort of hands-on. So,
No, I totally get that. And I think, I mean, we can all testify to this, that I know back in my day, but back when I was starting out as a 12-year-old or so, there weren't platforms for one. There weren't any platforms. You weren't aware of brand look. You knew you wanted to wear, you know, a certain type of shirt or whatever, but you weren't like acutely aware of these things. Bootleg jeans, always a winner. But I think we've obviously become more and more aware of it, like in this day and age, and obviously has a huge impact on our careers. And I think that kind of leads into my next question, because when it comes to lockdown, how are you guys coping with lockdown? How are you still connecting with your fans? Because as a musical theater person, you need musical theater, or I would love to know what you guys are doing as well to add on to that and to still stay connected with fans, to also help, like Bella was saying, and also like you were saying, Carmen, your passion. So I'd love to know what you're busy involved with. So Carmen, can you please just tell us a little bit about Vocal Lab? I'm so excited about this.
Oh, yay. So it's the Voice Lab. So
I'm sorry, the Voice Lab.
I still get confused. I still type in vocal when I type my email. So it's the Voice Lab. So it's either Vocal Lab or Voice Lab. So when you'll see it online.
Voice Lab.
So since I started singing, I always thought that eventually I would end up teaching this, because I never saw myself teaching dancing. Maybe at one point acting, or at some point acting and directing, I'd love to do, but I always knew that I would want to teach voice. And I feel like in our country, there's a lack of good voice teachers. So it was just more of a reason for me to do that. Now, suddenly, a lot is happening in the voice teacher department. Like LAMT has got incredible voice teachers. You know, Waterfront Theatre School, who's another institution where they train musical theatre performers, have incredible voice teachers. So it just kind of feels like that's taking more of a front seat, and it's exciting. For me, it's just always been a passion. That's why I started performing, because I started singing. It's the only reason I entered High School Musical, because I wanted to sing. It was a platform for me to sing on. The only reason I started musicals in my high school days, not High School Musical days, high school days, was because the only way I could sing in grade 8 when I got to school, the only extramural I could do that involved singing was the major production. And And then that was the first time I was introduced to musical theatre. So I love musical theatre, and I grew up with the soundtracks of Cats and Andrew Lloyd Webber's Greatest Hits and that stuff. That was my mom's, background music. But it was a massive reason as to why I'm here today is singing. And yeah, I'm very much a nerd, so I love biology. If I didn't do this, I would probably have been a doctor or an ENT. So it's exciting.
I love that.
I think what's amazing about Carmen as a singing coach as well is that you don't just bring what you know about singing, you bring all your experience as a performer, which I think is a huge impact on how performers understand how longevity of the voice is important, vocal health is important, how do you get through 8 shows, what happens when you've just got off a plane and you have to sing a concert the next day. It's all those things that you've experienced, and you can, there's so many sides to it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fascinated by all the sounds that we have to produce as musical theatre performers. And Auntie will tell you, he will tell, can vouch for this. Is like I auditioned for a show where my voice wasn't right. Auntie will know which one this is, and it also woke in me once again to kind of how exciting the voice is, because since then I've been able to practice that particular timbre and sound, and it's just it's such an endless a place to explore the voice, the human voice, and especially in musical theatre, because we're so called to do one sound and then 6 months later another sound, and then you have to be fit with that. Yes, it's exciting, and it's a daunting place to, if you don't know anything about the voice, it's a daunting place to find yourself in. So that's why, and it was locked down, so I was like, it's now or never, Carmen.
I love it. So are you doing you're obviously doing it all online, and is it like a Zoom thing where your students Zoom in, or is it individual, or are you doing classes? What's the vibe there?
I do individual lessons. I do kids and adults, and it started slowly, but it's really exciting to be able to do something even though you're at home and that person's at home. Ideally, I would still say lessons in person are the best, but it's exciting to be able to do something. And as a teacher, it's also important for me to grow, because I've performed for 11, 12 years. So now, embarking on this journey, like I said, to the established voice teachers in this country, it's exciting for me to now learn that side of things and learn from them. It's important, and I feel like teaching voice is such a big responsibility, because it's about technique, and it's literally someone's livelihood. It's like, you can't mess it up.
So true.
And, it's
so true. I think that a lot of, I obviously we both started out going to teacher Desi. So Desi was like a granny, right? So she was like an auntie, a granny for us, and she always spoke about it was always a lesson. You don't sing with your throat, you sing with your body, you sing with your toes.
From your big toe.
You sing with everything, because you're so right in saying that these are children, these are their livelihoods. This is how we make this is how we put fuel in our car. This is how we put bread on the table.
And I think it's also quite cool that all 3 of us started with her, because she really is great, especially with kids. Because that's where you really mess up, is when you're teaching children. And we all are singing and not having vocal problems. So I think that says something about Desi, teacher Desi. And now we're passing it on to the next generation, So.
I love that. I think that's amazing. And I think, like Anton, being a teacher is like, hands up. It's a whole nother skill level. You got to deal with kids, teenagers. All of the above. So and adults. I think it's amazing.
And moms and dads.
Oh, and moms and dads. Spill the tea.
I think. Well, certainly Dwayne and I got ourselves into a very tricky situation. Well, not tricky, but it taught us how to deal with moms and dads, because we started obviously putting these shows together with young kids. So we were casting all the Von Trapps, we were casting all the Matildas, and with every Matilda and every Von Trapp comes a parent or 2 parents. And they have the interests of their children at heart, and obviously so do we, but one is constantly having to sort of navigate that balance between keeping parents out of the creative process and yet and making sure they're supporting their children with everything that they need to help them get through these 8 shows a week, and their vocal health and their kind of because it's a big deal performing in front of 2,000 people every night. And it's so helping them emotionally and just making them get a grip on trying to do school and being a little professional actor on the side. So, getting to communicate with parents is a really important process. But even at varsity college level, parents have a very vested interest in their kids. And, so we often bring them in to help, understand where we're coming from and to support them through these 3 years, which are really, really tough on them emotionally, mentally. And I think actually this whole lockdown period for us has been more about helping our students through the emotional and mental anxiety of this whole process than anything else, really. Their work is always beautiful and they work really, really hard, but it is helping them understand that they will have a career when this finishes, that are they going to be ready to go out into the big wide world after this. So it really is about being a psychologist, a mother, a brother, a friend, a teacher, all those things they say. It's true.
Yes.
And Ant has literally been that. I can speak for myself. He has been that for me. So that's so lucky.
No, I think, I love that I love what you're saying, that it's sort of being a teacher is all of the above. And I think I'm pretty sure this also comes with the burden that you got to teach these kids to guard their hearts, that they've got to know their value. And that's Teacher Desi for you. Guard your hearts. They've got to know their value, and they got to give their all in that audition. And like you said, Carmen, sometimes your voice just isn't right. Sometimes you just didn't have the correct background in dance or whatever it is. And you just got to know that you got to go back home, work harder, come back the next audition, and just try and be better every single time. So, JARRYD, you've done numerous productions. You've done dancing. I saw a video of you tap dancing. I was talking.
JARRYD is incredible. I mean, geez.
Oh, I want to get into some juice. We're going to spill the tea now. Okay, we're going to spill the tea.
Okay.
I need to know. I want to know about Rocky Horror, because what a cool show. Literally amazing. But I want to know, how did you prepare for that role? I want to know all about it.
How did this happen? How did that happen?
All of that. Lots of work. Lots of work and a lot of stress, obviously.
Yes.
You know what? I think I auditioned for the role a year before we started rehearsals, almost to the team.
Wow.
And when I came back, I was on Chicago, and I got really sick in China.
Ooh.
And as one does, JARRYD.
Okay.
They've all experienced.
And I also am an emotional eater. So I came back looking a bit sized, if you know what I'm saying. I was a bit round. And anyway, I was coming down. I didn't audition for Rocky yet, and I was coming down to Cape Town, and Dwayne phoned me, and he was like, would you consider auditioning for Rocky? And I was like, no. No, I was like, I couldn't sing it, and I was like, I look like a mess. I look like a mess. If I take my shirt off, no one's going to cast me. Like, absolutely not. Anyway, after it was basically just getting my headspace right, I auditioned, and basically once I knew I'd gotten the role, I started working and trying to get my pre-body back, and it was amazing. It was a healing journey in a way, because it really taught me to not develop healthy eating habits. And just really use my intuition with my diet, not get too caught up on cutting things out. So it was very much exploring so that it was sustainable, because there's also nothing frightening than being in a Speedo for that period of time and having to look a certain way. So the biggest thing I had to work on was my mind. So I did a lot of a lot of coaching on my mind. I invested a lot in my self work, my self love, my self compassion, confidence, all of that kind of stuff. So that by the time I got to the process, that wasn't in my consciousness. I wasn't thinking about my body. I just knew it was going to show up, it was going to be fine, and I could just deliver the essence of the role instead of worrying about the external factors of the role. Because I think so many times the role has been undermined in that way, where I think it's just been seen as an external character or role, which it can be, but I really enjoyed giving it a bit of body and a bit of just exploring it more. It was really,
I think it's what's amazing, is JARRYD sort of, there's a lot of discipline that needs to come into maintaining something like that. And I mean, there was never a show where JARRYD wasn't like absolutely focused and disciplined on the moment and was clearly a fan favorite. But I think one forgets it's not just about coming on and having a great body, it's about keeping that there. And what I think was so amazing was that, yes, the talent was always there, but when you first auditioned, it was like, how am I going to get from A to B? And you did it with such, you did it amazingly and healthily, as you say. And really the reaction was crazy. It was just, people just loved you.
I think that's incredible. I mean, I saw the pictures, and I mean, just incredible. And to be able to maintain.
That's what I'm trying to grow back.
Because what did you actually dye your hair blonde? Was it like that was it? You dyed everything?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had amazing care. The company really looked after me. They looked after my hair, which was phenomenal. I mean, I had really cool hair. But by the time the show finished, I was looking amazing in terms of how I'd kept my physique. So I thought, you know what, let me go do some photographs. Because one always must think of capturing these hardworking moments, right?
Yes, yes.
Anyway, I dye my hair back to brown, and I fly down to Cape Town, and I have a whole lot of shoots with different photographers. And every morning I wake up, I just have handfuls of hair.
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness!
My hair's breaking. So I'm like, shit. Can I say that on there? And then I'm like, okay, cool. I must quickly take these photographs, and then I cut my hair really short. So now it's a lockdown mess, but
it looks great.
It's great.
We're getting there. We're recovering.
That's good.
It is the JARRYD we remember.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I want to stay on this topic of
blonde, JARRYD. Was it fun?
Being blonde?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Blonde
it is fun.
Oh my gosh.
No, it was lots of fun. I enjoyed, I'd always wanted to go blonde and to experience it. So I think I ticked that itch off, but it's high maintenance. My hair felt
you're not a natural. You're not natural. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
natural.
if you're not natural, then it is high maintenance.
No, okay. Calm down.
Every night when I go home, like as Anton says, no one, you think, you just arrive looking like that. Like, no. The discipline behind the scenes, like going home and sitting for 15 minutes with conditioner in your hair and doing the dent and violet and then doing this and doing that. Like, it's a process.
It's a whole process. I just want to quickly hop in to these live comments. I don't know if you guys can see these coming up at the bottom of the screen, but people are saying Rocky Horror Picture Show is such an amazing show. The Voice Lab SA, someone added it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Somebody said, Thea said, incredible individuals, remarkable reputations. Love you guys. So, and with a whole lot of little emojis. So people are digging this. You guys are awesome. You got some major fans out there. This is very cool. Well, I wanted to just like hang on this hair, the look thing for like a whole second, because I wanted to bring up cats for both of you. So I've got this, right? Is that yours, Rum Tum Tugger?
No.
Is that yours?
No, that's me as Skimbleshanks.
Okay. Yes.
The railway cat.
The railway cat.
Man.
Behind
I
you.
have to tell you that
wig.
Wow. Yeah.
I must say the
have to tell you.
wigs grew in size. I think in 2010 they were half that size, and 10 years later they're like these massive. They can live on their own.
My
My
goodness,
first wig
With
fitting,
people being in
I felt
cats.
like, sorry, my first wig fitting, I just wanted to say quick, was I felt like I was a yak. Like I had these huge horns that came
oh my
out.
gosh.
And thankfully over the period of a year, it shrunk a little.
Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to show this because I wanted to share this here because I saw you posted this. Oh, here we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
There we
This
go.
is my
Here we go.
stomach.
Look at that.
Oh, this is so cool.
Look at that. And you're becoming a cat. You guys still watching this? You guys can see this, right?
It's frozen. Oh, yeah. Wow.
This is like, I've watched this like at least 4 times. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look at that. And then
I
boom.
must say, it was really cool doing this makeup for the
Wow,
show.
that's amazing.
It is the one, we all have these moments where we dream. We have our dream that terrifies us and makes us sit up in sweats, and mine is a recurring cat's dream. And that is like, it's the 5-minute call and I still don't have my cat's makeup on. And then it's stand by and I still don't have, because it was a real thing. Like, making sure you were all ready and your wig was put on, and it was a process.
What was the latest you ever put on your makeup?
I think the half-hour call. And that's, because I was such a perfectionist. I was like,
It's not too bad.
That's
you're what?
good.
15.
15-minute call.
I would be platting.
Why was it so late?
We were in Singapore and I don't know what happened.
Oh my goodness, I've got even a story for Singapore. I was having jet lag and I woke up, this is for Evita with Anton. I woke up at literally our call. I woke up and I was like, panicked. I was like, I don't know what to do. The first person I thought of, Anton, was you.
It happens to everyone there.
Is it a bad thing that I only set my alarm
horrendous.
for?
Is it what?
Is it a bad thing that I only set my alarm for our call?
That's a good thing. I think I was eating. I don't know what I was doing, but
It's horrendous.
It suits your personality.
The
But I
hour
phoned
call-
you, Anton, because I trusted you, and I was like, I don't know what to do.
No,
I mean,
I
these
think
horror stories.
theatre stories and
No, it's
theatre
a thing.
nightmares, they're a real thing, I mean, I was saved on Evita with you, Isabella, where I thought like we were somewhere else in the show. So I just went to my dressing room. We were in Hong Kong, boiling hot, and I just whipped off all my stage clothes and I was just standing there under the aircon. And, my dresser runs in and says, "Where are you? You're on stage in a minute." So I was literally running, dressing, running to, it's, so that stuff happens, but it's what makes it so amazing.
Hilarious. Oh my
it makes
goodness.
it exciting what to do.
No, you know what? I think that these Bella, because Bella's obviously giving me a rundown of a couple of her horror stories. But so, Anton, when it came to cats, because you said that cats were sort of like you were part of the first big one, right? So when it came to like the costumes in South Africa, the costumes, the makeup, how was that first production? And how has it changed? Because obviously now you direct, and I want to know how you feel it's changed from being on stage as well, and then watching. How has it changed since then?
I think the big difference for me was back then we put shows together in 8 weeks. Now we put shows together in 4 weeks, and it speaks for the level of talent and the amazing skills that the South African companies have learned in a really short space of time. We're a young industry, yet I think we're one of the only countries in the world that has, where the actors have CVs that just go on forever, because we literally jump from show to show every, 6 months. And we do a lot of international touring. So, it's a feather in our caps in the sense that we're so in demand. But back then, I mean, people like Paul Warwick Griffin and Angela Killian and Daryl Evans, and, we were all the sort of the first group of young South Africans that had this beautiful opportunity where someone came over from England and told us we were good enough to be on an international level and on an international stage. And we toured for 4 years on and off with cats in the most amazing places. And yes, all of that magic came. And I still think to this day that, I cut my teeth on theatre doing cats. I mean, yes, I studied at Stellenbosch and I got my degree, but where it really, really kicked in for me was when the blinkers came off, and it was working with Australians and people from all over England, and getting to, you know, understand where the costumes came from, and that, yes, someone else's label is in here because this is probably the third monkey strap that's worn this costume. And, you know, it's a really, like last night we had our little rent reunion, and it was just reminded me again that
It's amazing.
you know, theater is family, and it doesn't matter if you don't see people forever. You know, if I see Jared or I see Carmen in 6 months' time, or I see Isabella, we go straight back to where we left off, and that moment where we shared these really beautiful experiences. And it's the same with this first, you know, 2001 production of Cats. You know, Paul and myself, we joke about us being in the Z team, you know, because we were definitely not dancers, you know. And I think that's the other thing is if I was to have the skills I had then in Jared's production of Cats, I probably wouldn't have got in. But back then, you know, they looked at different things that we had to offer. You know, my audition was very much an acting audition. You know, Monkey Strap was about, all right, show me how you can be the leader of a pack of cats as opposed to how high you can kick your leg. And
if
you know,
I can interject there quickly, and is that was what was so amazing for me, because Cats was also my first international show as well. And when I went to the audition, I was so nervous. And I was like, there's no ways I'm getting into this show, because everyone has to be a really insane dancer, right?
Yeah.
And you got all the dancers going there, and they were doing all their funny leg positions. Yeah, all stretching and all these weird things. And I'm like, how's this going to happen? And I was actually paired up with the Mustaphalis. And I'll never forget in my audition, she auditioned, and I kept getting paired up with this ballet dancer. And he was amazing. And anyway, it's now turns in second. And she says, okay, now it's your turn. I can't turn in second. Like, if you want me to sing, I can sing. Your splits, but I can't turn in second. I really can't turn in second. So
I don't even know what that means.
So what was amazing, what my point was, is that it was amazing to learn that Cats wasn't about dancing necessarily. It was how they saw the show at that time, and whether it didn't matter if you were an actor or predominantly singer or dancer. Everyone just, it was about the energy that you brought to the show and the characterizations, and that was so beautiful, and it always changes.
Absolutely. And that's one finds at the end of the day when you look at who's been cast in Cats, it always blows my mind how those characters are intrinsically a part of that person's personality. You know, if I look back and I go, I mean, Jared is totally a Skimbleshanks. There's no question. I don't see any other role that you would fit 100% in that show. It is just so part of your personality, you know, and that's what makes casting it wonderful. And you know, you have a really good director when, you know, you can see that the casting is just absolutely spot on. They saw something in you straight away when you came in and went, well, that's a Skimble. There it is. You know.
Real life.
I love what you're saying about sort of finding the role that and it becomes part of you. And I think because of all this experiences you've had, you're clearly passing this on to the younger generation. And I've actually got a little clip here that I want to share of Lamta. So I'm going to start with. Can you guys see this? Yeah, I found this.
Oh,
I found
look at you.
Look at that. Look at that building.
Oh, stunning.
I love this. Look at Dwayne.
Yes, Dwayne.
I love that. And this is for our audience watching. This is Cape Town. Beautiful Cape Town, Camps Bay. Come to South Africa and come see Camps Bay, Cape Town. Look at those dancers.
Amazing.
This is just, I love that you are investing in this young talent.
It's Canna.
Yeah.
Yep.
Faces I already recognize, which is crazy. I already recognize some of these kids. Look at that. Nice
Faces of the future.
Look how big he is now.
I'm going to pause that for a minute. Yeah. I mean, just amazing.
the thing that's amazing is that I think we all reach a stage as performers where we give back, because that is just inherent in who we are as performers. You know, we're storytellers. We, you know, we pass our craft on to generations. We pass it on to younger people in casts that we're with. We pass our experience down. And that's why I always am so humbled to be in productions where, you know, there are people that have been in the theater forever, and they might come on for 5 minutes. I mean, look at Ian McKellen in Cats. You know, he has one number, but he just blows everyone out of the water. You know, and that's the thing, is never take for granted the experience that someone else brings to the show, and especially you know, people that are your senior and that have had experiences, and they pass the stuff down to their younger, you know, the younger generations. And I think whether it's directly through being an educator or whether it's just somebody you take under your wing who are in a company with you, it's always about passing it on.
Very true, very true. I mean, now that you bring that up, I think it's really interesting. Jared, I want to jump to you in 2 seconds, but Anton just said something very cool, that you find somebody in the cast that you sort of would take under your wing. You know, you'd find that person. Who, Carmen, when it came to your productions, was there a person that you felt just took you under their wing and just sort of guided you through, whether it be the first production or your fifth production, whatever it is? Was there a person that you know just like invested in you and just taught you something different about musical theatre that you would never have known if they hadn't done that?
I have to say that Ant and Dwayne were two of those people for me, and like hugely. I worked with Dwayne before I worked with Anton, and I worked with Dwayne on, what was it? Was it, I think it was, oh my gosh, I can't remember the first time.
Cabaret? No?
I think it was Cabaret, but even before that, he kind of, he never made me feel like I couldn't do something, even though he might have had his doubts secretly, or he might have thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be a challenge for her. Like, he was such a nurturer. And Dwayne is an incredible dancer, and he, at the time, he was resident choreographer of basically, you know, many of the shows, and he would be the person that I would be the most afraid of, because my dancing was the thing that always freaked me out the most, and he just never made me feel like I couldn't do something. If I saw him at an audition, instead of having the fear of God in me, I would feel relieved. I'd be like, okay. And then Anton, when I met him, he became like that as well for me in terms of the acting and the music and the singing side. And then the other person that did this for me was Samantha Pio. She's very famous.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, and she, you know, there were many others, but those were the three that kind of made me feel seen and capable. And without that feeling of people in the industry that you look up to as a younger performer doing that for you, it really is hard. But also at the same time, now that I'm kind of not the youngest anymore, I must say that the more younger performers want to learn, the more you want to help them.
Sure.
Because also, like, have people come in and they have an attitude about them, and no matter how good they are, it immediately puts them behind the people that have a willingness to learn, or a certain type of way with people. If you're happy to be around, people are happy to be around you, then they want to help you. And thank goodness that's how, you know, I was perceived. But yes, it's critical to thank God for Anton, Dwayne, and Sam, and the people who came before JARRYD and I, because they really helped to bolster us. So maybe we had enough talent, but if we didn't have the guts, then they kind of bolstered us to just try things and do things, and here we are, you know. So priceless.
No, I love that. I really love what you're saying about that. I mean, I haven't worked with Anton, but I know all the stories because of Bella, of course. And obviously I saw you as Magaldi, and I absolutely fell in love. I fell in love with Jeremy Vita.
Well, Bella's a perfect example of, you know, like, really talk about coming into an industry so young and so talented, and just, you know, and knocking the role out of the park. But also, in a sense, first time overseas, I think. First time on an international tour, at least. I don't know if it was. Alone. it's daunting, it's really daunting. And you're with people. I mean, we were on stage with Ramin Karimloo, for Pete's sake. I mean,
I know.
it doesn't get more insane than that. Yeah.
No,
and
absolutely
and what a feather in your cap as a youngster to come into an audition and just nail it completely, where the creative team are just like, well, that's the mistress. That is her right there. And then to think, well, what a massive journey I have ahead of me. Look at the people on stage I have to work with. And it is very much a mental game. And it's very much also, as Carmen says, about knowing your worth and taking time to say, I'm good enough. And I can do this,
I mean, Anton, knowing your worth is so much to do with like the audition process. Like we were saying earlier, it's probably the worst possible thing on this planet that I've ever experienced. It's any audition I've ever gone to is just the worst, because am I good enough? Maybe I'm good enough, but I'm too short. Or there's so many variables in this industry. And I remember my audition, you were talking about dancing, Jared.
Oh,
first I went into a professional musical theater audition with the puppets and thought that was a good idea. It was charming, and I sang.
It was a good idea.
I auditioned for the mistress, and she auditioned for Evita. She didn't get the role. And for the dancing audition, I've never in my life, listen, everyone who auditioned, I don't even know who they are. They weren't in the show with me, because these all on my day were all like these Brazilian ballet goddesses who were there. And I'm like, why am I here with these people? And they were so amazing and doing second turn or whatever they are. And I made a fool of myself, and then I got a call back, and I was like, this isn't right. And I remember in my callback, I apologized. I said, I'm so sorry for my dance audition, but thank you for having me. Just don't make me dance again.
Well, that's a perfect lesson. Like, never underestimate what you can bring to a show, because you don't know. The creative knows what they want, know. And if you go, oh, well, I'm not a good enough dancer, I'm not going to even bother. You don't know what is in that show for you, and there might be something
bring something else to the table.
Absolutely. So never think that.
To audition for Chicago, I wasn't going to, because I thought, there's no way I'm going to get through the ballet round, which was the first thing on that audition notice that jumped out at me. Everyone will do a ballet round, and I was like, are you kidding? Like, there is no way I'm going to get through that. And I literally puked in my mouth and had to stand in front of Gary and the panel. But I because it's like everyone was brilliant.
It's so good.
But Carmen, I have to tell you, you were. I'm gonna bring this up because you're pretty cool. You're pretty good at this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share this. Look here.
Oh, God.
Look at this. Look.
Oh no!
Look how gorgeous you are. Look at those legs. Yes.
Oh,
absolutely amazing.
Thanks, guys.
No, I love this.
Me and my baby and me. Without as happy as babies can be.
Was so
No, I'm gonna pause it there, but oh my goodness. Just
absolutely stunning in this
You're
role.
amazing.
Beautiful. The hair, I have to tell you, I've seen Chicago on Broadway and West End. I was very lucky to have seen them, and I just watched that like 20 times. You are gorgeous. You're absolutely gorgeous. And I love that scene. And I think she's such a funny character. She's such an interesting character to play. And I think you just pulled it off like just brilliantly. Absolutely brilliant. So I loved it.
Yeah,
no, of course.
She's by far my favorite character that I've ever played. She was my dream role. I've got 3, and she was one of them that are all kind of up there. And that was like, it was,
because obviously there was. Sorry, you go, Anton.
No, carry on.
Are you sure?
Of course, these guys are being very modest, because Carmen can do, they're triple threats deluxe, so they sit here and say, or whatever. Like watching JARRYD in Rocky, when we would go through the scenes and we would say, the director would go, well, can you do this? And he goes, yeah, I can do this. Can you fix that? Yeah, I can fix that. Can you do, it's like, and it's the same with all triple threat performers. It's, I guess, in a sense, they've learned these disciplines that they can just bring into this big pot. And, I challenge anybody who thinks musical theater is easy to actually, try and do these things separately and now put it all together and see what it feels like whilst you're holding a prop, whilst you're listening to harmonies, following the band. It is absolutely crazy. So
times 300 times because of the amount of shows.
Making it look easy. And I think sometimes that's our detriment. We make it look so easy that it's but it is crazy.
No, you're welcome. I mean, just to let you guys know, just to fill you in again, people are commenting here on this live stream. They are absolutely in love with you. All of you. They just can't believe the talent and everything. Just absolutely incredible. So I'm not gonna hop to JARRYD. I mean, I wish we could hop across. It'd be really cool. Just hop across. And so I wanted to, before we get into the question that I want to ask you, I just want to ask you, when it comes to somebody that took you under their wing, who was that? Did you have that person? Who was that?
It was Anton and Dwayne.
I told you it was the old man.
I've had some really incredible mentors. It was Anton and Dwayne for sure. It was Paul and Gareth.
Yes, I have to say Paul and Goose as well.
Yes, sure. Paul and Goose as well from High School Musical. And then Angela Killian was a huge navigating force for me because she did Cats with me. And I remember we all flew in to South Korea to start rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it was my first time in Asia. It was by myself. I flew with no other person, landed, got in the first ever rehearsals, there was Angela Killian, in the corner. I was like, oh my God.
She was super,
she's royalty. I was like, and then I was that coy, hi. We in the together, this is so cool. I'm also South African. And she really helped me just navigate my mind, navigate all sorts of things. So
yes, I love that. And I love that you mentioned Dwayne. Anthony, you should just, if Dwayne's there, just tell him to just come with his grease hair and everything.
I think I still have their numbers. Oh, it's definitely Dwayne, saved as Dwayne Cats, because I met them when they were doing Cats in 2009.
Oh my God.
When I think I just finished high school, and I'd met them because Dwayne and I went to the same high school in Pietermaritzburg, and we shared the same teacher, Marianne Hartley, and she introduced us. And it's just so wonderful, all these connections, and like Anta said before, you just become family, really. And you just have such a good foundation, which is so cool.
It's a small world, it really is. And then you realize, hold on, I know so many people overseas now because I've worked with them, and again, it doesn't matter where people are. It's like a little global village, and you start to make contacts. And at the end of the day, you realize somewhere, somebody via this person. And then the best thing when you're an international cast is you all sit down and then you open Facebook and you look at mutual friends, and suddenly you realize, hold on, this person, you know that person, and then you're connected. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
No, I think, and I just want to, as a testament to Dwayne, like I said, I haven't worked with you guys, but I was there at nearly every single Evita show when it was in Joburg and Cape Town. And I mean, Dwayne was just so wonderful and caring. He would literally sneak me in at the back so that I could watch the show every single time. Just come here. There's a seat at the back here, or there's a seat right here. So wonderful, just really, really wonderful. Okay, so I'm in agreement with you guys. I'm with you. So, JARRYD, now I want to ask you this question. So, we're all creatives, right? And I feel that my feeling is that as creatives, we often inspire and sort of lead the way forward. When it comes to ideas and projects, we're the ones that are coming up with this, which is amazing, which is incredible for this time. And you mentioned that you are starting a new project. So during lockdown, I would love you just to tell us a bit about it.
Well, given our circumstances worldwide, our industries have shut down, which means work is completely shut down.
Yes.
At least for the foreseeable future, which is still at least 6 months of say musical theatre work that is now gone. So as scary as it was a really good time the lockdown was a good time for me to, I first did like a 30-day social media detox where I just really went inside and I just
You
healed.
did a social media detox? That's
Well
great.
done.
I deleted
done.
everything off my phone.
Wow.
Yep. And I
I'm
went
just saying that
completely.
because Jared is like the best at social media out of everybody here and most people on this planet. So I'm just like, well done,
Thanks.
Maya.
That's a big move.
Yeah,
So it was. And it was also just, it was very powerful because, again, no one should ever get caught up with the ego side of anything, and especially social media, how many likes and this and that. And you know what, like the ego in me was like, but everyone's going to be going on. And I was like, you know what, I actually just can't. I just need to do me and just press reset. So I did that and I came back, and it was so good because when I came back, I had energy for me, which in turn I could have energy for the world, energy for my creative ideas.
Yes.
I could just think. And what has in turn happened was I'm now going online. So I'm launching my own my website and basically my services. And like Carmen, you get to that certain stage in your life and in your career where a calling happens, and suddenly you have that desire and need to give back and teach and nurture, grow, help, inspire, motivate. So one of those is going to be life coaching. So I'm going to be launching that service.
Amazing.
Yeah, and also mostly to a lot of, I'm wanting to approach a lot of young performers as well, because so what I found in my career, I never got a degree or anything, but learning on the job. And what I found helped me grow as an actor was the more I understood myself, the more I could heal my traumas, the more I could get out of my head, the more space and the more intuitive I was with the work. And I could just understand the intention of it and then deliver it and trust myself. So I really want to help young performers stop wasting time so I can be that coach once a week or that person to talk to once a week, so that people like Anthony and Dwayne and Carmen can do their jobs with skill, and I can deal with the emotional state and the mental state, so that you can have so you can really optimize the whole experience, and those kids can grow and really utilize every class they're doing. Because if you are battling with self-confidence, with nerves, with anxiety, with all these kinds of things, you can go into your singing class and you'll just have an emotional breakdown.
Yeah.
And nothing's going to help. But if you're slowly working on that elsewhere, you have the tools to come into that class to know how to cope with that, then this teacher's giving you everything in that class to do it, you can fly. So I'm definitely going in with an industry eye with my life coaching, but also everyone else on my social media who's just been wanting to really figure out how to find the light, just consciousness. So, you know, I often thought there's so many people out there, like, why me? Like, why would anyone want to come and use my services? But, you know, I know enough to give enough. And I think at some stage in your career, you just got to put your big girl panties on, like Anne said, and you just got to go, okay, I'm just going to try this new avenue, like Carms, and just do it with the best intentions. So just to really help people. And then I'm also going to be doing other workshops for social media to really help your social media image and try, because now everyone has to go online. So now everyone is overwhelmed. And I'm just going to give a basic crash course in the beginning to just help find your social media presence, your online presence.
And I must say, it's daunting. I'm someone who I find social media incredibly stressful. I acknowledge all of its uses, but Jared and I have spent hours, you know, over a glass of wine in a hotel room talking about, well, you know, it's super daunting for someone like me who's an introvert. I just find it's the balance between having it and then putting stuff about myself out there for people to see, and then knowing when to do that, and how do I separate myself from that, and how do I not worry about, you know, likes and all that.
just like Carmen's expressing and showing you, is that there's so much psychology
so
around it. And I want to be that person to help you with even the little things of the psychology to social media, to go and with per person, like what I would say to Carmen would be different to what I would say to Anton, and just really bespoke it, like really make it and fine tune it so that everyone doesn't get overwhelmed, because it doesn't have to be. Because again, the major thing we have to be is authentic. And basically that's what I want to be teaching.
Yes. And I 100% agree with you, because from day one, I've had amazing teachers and mentors always instill in me, be authentic, be the real you, focus on you, guard your heart, all of the above. And I mean, look at the comments below. People are agreeing with you. And mental health is, in this industry, I believe, is a huge thing, because you firstly believe you got to do everything. You believe that you got to be brilliant at everything. And the second you aren't, you feel like you're absolutely nothing. If I can just add, go. Yes.
And what we also don't realize is that a lot of the times us performers suffer from adrenal fatigue and low cortisol levels and all of these things. So if you are a young performer, you've got all of that, you've got your personal life, you've got work stress, you've got so many factors that I burnt out at one point along the line. And it was almost like a continual burnout I was battling with until I figured it out, you know. And that figuring out took years, and I want to help people minimize that time that took me so long to figure out how to get through all those hurdles, because the world nowadays is different to how it was. You know, there's so much pressure and stress and online this and blah, 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 you know. So I just want to basically help calm everyone down.
I think that's amazing. And Jared, I need you on another show in a few weeks' time, just so we can be kept at what's going on. Same with Anton, same with Carmen. I need you guys on in a couple of weeks' time just to see how things are going, how people are progressing. I would love it, because when it comes to this sort of thing, it's one of my pet peeves, if I can say that, because I find that a lot of people are just, I think, Carmen, you mentioned it, that when it comes to this, singing coaches and singing teachers, we need people out there that are there to guard your heart and there to guide you, because those mentors are so important. When you're talking about dealing with the stress, if I can just add in a little bit of from my personal side, that I spend a lot of time in Nashville, Tennessee, and last year, July, I was there. I was working till 11 o'clock at night, getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and just to go for 3 weeks. 5 weeks. It was 5 weeks long. And I had a panic attack, toward the end of it. I literally had a panic attack. And it was I called my mom. It's 7 hours difference. And so fortunately it was morning for her. And I was like, I need you to help. 2 hours later, she's helped me calm down. I get home a week later, and I have another panic attack when I get home. And it's just because I wasn't dealing with that stress. I was doing my job. I was doing it brilliantly. I was there. I was on time every time. I was fit and whatever. The thing is, I wasn't actually processing to actually eat a piece of cake, go out for a cup of coffee, take care of yourself. And I had to go, and I was talking to I was on the show a little bit earlier, just previewing this show. I was talking to Kim about this a couple of hours ago, and I had to literally go and find help. I spoke to people who I trusted with my heart, and I said, what should I do? So I went and I had a clinical behavioral therapy, CBT, and it was a process that I thought would take 6 years. I literally, I started, and 6 months later, I sat there in my last meeting with my doctor, and she said, okay, what else do you want to talk about? And I was like, I got nothing. I'm good. Thanks. And she said, come see me in a couple months' time. And that's the thing. We need to actually be willing to reach out, and we need to know that we don't need to be brilliant at everything. To have the tools. That's it. Have the tools to grow.
What can happen most often with actors particularly is that you'll have this emotional experience and you'll build up emotional triggers. So the next job you do, you don't even realize that you're being triggered and you explode, and then you've done it for yourself. Then you could ruin your career, or you could, I don't know, just if you're not on it, you could make a bad mistake. And so dealing with all these things are so important, so that you know how to communicate. You have emotional intelligence. all of these kinds of things. So important.
Emotional intelligence. I like that. Emotional intelligence. Just to be
Yeah.
aware of yourself.
And I'm so glad that we are, that this is happening. Jared's going to start his business, and that people know that we are aware. Like, as people who've been in the industry for a while, Anton is more than both of us, but let's say minimum 8 years experience. Like, we know what it takes, and we've been there, and it's good to be able to discuss the mental and the emotional side of this industry, because actually this is what gets you, if you have talent, this is actually what gets you jobs. This
Amen.
it's how you're gonna cope with this industry. And
I think that's so true. It's so true to have the right head on your shoulders, to actually have that business mind, to be emotionally intelligent. It's all really, really important. And I'm so glad that you guys are out there teaching the next generation. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It just really makes me so happy. So, we've actually gone over by like 15 minutes, and you guys are such stars for hanging on with me. But I want to if I can just end the conversation, or end this. I hate doing that. I don't want to end the conversation. This is fun. But I would love to just know, going forward, guys, because I mean, COVID is what we're dealing with right now is a real thing. People are seriously stressed. People are losing their jobs. I mean, when it comes to musical theater and their contracts, there are no shows. You can't guarantee anything for the next year. I mean, you tell me if it's sooner. You would know, but I mean, it's quite a scary thing. So I would love to know from your guys' perspective going forward during this time, and then hopefully, as in South Africa, when we go down in stages to eventually to stage 0, eventually, what are your plans going forward with what you're doing when it comes to your own careers? What are your plans? Just, if I don't know, ladies first. Carmen, if you want to go first.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I am really hoping to grow the Voice Lab. It's very organic for me, and I do it because I love it. So wherever it grows, it will grow. I believe in going where your heart leads you, and that's kind of how I feel about the Voice Lab. But hopefully, I would love to do more television and film work and theatre locally. I'm hoping that it'll all wake up again.
Yes.
So, it depends on what happens, but for now, the Voice Lab is my bread and butter, and I study marketing as well, which is keeping me.
Yes, you mentioned. How amazing is that? I think that's brilliant to also have that added. It's amazing. I love that.
And it's just, and then I also wanted to say that in line with what Jared's doing, Samantha Pio and I have a weekly chat on a platform in South Africa called Unseen, and we're going to chat about, it's called Soul Sisters, and we're going to chat about like what Jared is talking about, like just, it's like there's a cafe style talk show about mental health and keeping yourself fit and happy and all the kind of things that come with being in the industry. So that's what I'm doing.
That's amazing. And going forward, the thing is, the world's changing. The world is going to continue to change. So going forward, like, I think when it comes to like this particular show, I would never have thought 2 months ago that I would be hosting my own show on American Network. I would never have thought that. And the world has completely changed, where now my highlight of the week is a Sunday night. So I mean, it's amazing that the world is becoming this, and I really do hope, and I am sure that slowly but surely theaters are going to come back and more popular than ever, because people are going to realize that they are craving. They're craving live entertainment. They're craving music. They're craving human interaction. They're craving that. So I have no doubt that it's just going to skyrocket as soon as everything opens up, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Jared, do you want to go next? Going forward during lockdown, what's your vibes?
Well, I mean, all I'm doing at the moment to stay calm in my mind really is just to take it day by day, and week by week, literally not thinking any further, because it's changing all the time. And also, I think things are popping up all the time. So it's also a good way for us to practice being present and allow things to surface as they go. And like you and like everyone online, I'm starting my own channel as well this coming week. So it's going to be Natter with NURDEN, and Natter, like chatter, natter.
I love it.
NAWTR with NURDEN. And basically that idea came to me because, again, you know, with all our musical theatre travel and just being all around the world, I've met some amazing people and made some amazing friends. And I just thought, you know what, in alignment with my life coaching, I want to bring on these incredible people and ask them about their journeys, about tips on life, and just really, get to know them and let my audience and everyone else tune in on that as well. So I'm going to be just doing odd online things, and hopefully more things will come from that. But otherwise, that's my plan.
I think that's amazing. And I just want to point out this comment that's just come up now. Theatre will live on. Please put together a skit and do a theatre one Sunday for us. So if you guys are keen, I think you guys, we should work on something. We'll work on it, and you guys should put together something, and we can do like a however long you want, like a 15-minute.
There's a creator up there. Anton can put it together.
You want to put something together for us, Anton? I'm gonna WhatsApp you, and you must just tell me we'll put this together, and you guys can do this. I love that idea. Brilliant. Well, Anton, can you sort of just tell us? I know with Lambda and what you're going forward, how are you guys gonna continue going forward, coming out of this? Obviously, coaching the kids coming out of the space. Where are you at? And personally, of course, directing and being musical.
I think that if you look at history, there are always periods of strife, and that are usually followed by periods of prosperity. And I think that when people finally realize, gee, I'm free to go out and watch a movie and spend time with friends at a coffee shop, I think we'll appreciate a lot of things way more than we have. So this is a good lesson for us. But I think also that people are, as creatives, we're constantly creating. And I think a lot of creatives are now thinking out of the box. They're thinking of ways to bring their craft and their brand to their to the world, really, in a different format. And I think also essentially, we take care of the people that we need to look after. And for me and Dwayne, certainly it's those, students who are graduating now at the end of this year, So as we kind of go and hopefully down in levels, we'll obviously know what our priorities are.
Sure.
But I think a lot of students will obviously also now appreciate, when you're on the floor and you're in a space, that actually means something. And when you can interact with a fellow human being, that means something,
Yes.
So I think, a lot of lessons learned from this experience. But, we're adaptable as human beings. We, find ways to adjust. And I think we're now starting to focus on what's important as opposed to maybe what we were thinking was 6 months ago.
Right.
It's so true. It's so true, and I totally agree with you. And if I just look at my little 6 weeks, however long we've been in lockdown, I can't actually figure out how long we've been in lockdown. But what has become important? Spending time with the family, calling the grandparents, walking the dog. Those little things are important. And then of course, for me, it's been music and being creative and creating. And you sort of rediscover your passion, don't you? When you're put into a box and you're so bored, you've got nothing else to do. You can't help but be creative because it's going to keep you entertained. So I think it's been an amazing space for us as artists. We are definitely going to be struggling through this, definitely. But if we just use it as best we can, and as soon as we're allowed to, we're going to just burst out of this. I know there's going to be music coming out. There's going to be musicals, plays, everything. So
it's exciting.
Yeah.
I think it's important to try and keep our chins up. It's easy to say when you're in a home with electricity and running water, but we must all just count our blessings and use the time wisely.
Yes, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
You guys have been so cool. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
I have
Thank
loved it.
you for having us.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm definitely going to have you back. Please come back. I want to catch up on everything. I mean, the comments are literally going crazy. We're literally going crazy with our live comments. I'm not kidding. I mean, every now and then, like 5 new comments. Okay, gotta go recheck. So people are digging you. I can't wait to hear what you guys are doing with the rest of this time with stage 4, 3, 2, 1 going forward. So let's do another catch up. Let's organize this play for real, Anton. For real. I'm not joking. We're going to organize this, put together something, and we're doing it for real.
I love it.
Well, thank you, and thanks for bringing two of my best buddies. We've been long. It's a great combo. So thanks for that. That was really, really cool.
No, it's
Brilliant.
really awesome.
And thank you for talking about musical theatre on a music show. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we need, as musical theatre is cool, and it's great to have like us as part of a music show because we are a part of music.
I'm with you. I'm with you because I started in musical theatre. I literally was 15 years old and I got my first lead role as Belle in Beauty and the Beast at People's Theatre. So like I love musical theatre. It's always going to be in my bones. Like you said, Carmen, I grew up listening to the stuff. Jofus is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I love Jofus. I love it, and I've seen Chicago twice. I've seen everything. So I of course had to bring it here. And even last week we had Nathan Rowe on and Isabella, of course, as well. So we just were dabbling in the musical theatre. But this week I had to go musical theatre. So of course, kudos to you guys for keeping it alive as well in your own circles, on your own platforms.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for investing in our youth. It's so important. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for giving them an idol to look up to and a person that they want to be as well. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining me. Oh, you guys are awesome.
for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Of course. And I want to say thank you to the people watching, our listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys have been awesome. The comments have been absolutely incredible. And we'll see you guys here, same time, same place next week. See you later.
I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical girl. I ain't cheerleading while the boys play ball. I ain't no typical girl. No, no, no. I'm